Smash.
Yay! Good job. You gonna pillow? He said no. If you could all stand. You can all be seated. Friends and family, we gather here today to witness the marriage between Zach and Sara. Before we go any further in today's ceremony, though, the bride and groom have asked me to thank all of you, not just for being here today, but for the impact that you have had on their lives. The truth is you start to become a little bit of the people that you surround yourself with. And the truth is, it's clear that Zach and Sara have surrounded themselves with very loving, caring, and compassionate people. So once again, on behalf of the bride and groom, thank you. We've all had a little bit of an impact on Zach and Sara, but nobody has had a greater impact on them than their parents. I can't imagine what this moment must feel like for you guys. Watching your kids go through all of their firsts, saying their first words, taking their first steps, teaching them to ride a bike and then crash that bike, deciding who's going to have the fearful task of teaching them to drive, taking them to endless football practices, endless piano recitals, watching them go off to college, and then starting their careers. And now here you are, about to see your daughter take the same journey that you took not that long ago. So here's the question I have for you. Do you give your blessing on this union as they move forward in a life together in marriage?
See, we, yeah, yes, and absolutely.
Beautiful. Go ahead. Okay. Okay. And then you guys are going to face each other. This is the part of the ceremony where I'm supposed to give a brief history about Zach and Sara's love story. But given the fact that most of this happened during COVID and there's only so much I can talk about binging Netflix, this is going to be a very short version of their love story. Zach and Sara met each other at a friend's wedding in Florida. And even though they're both from Columbus, they had never crossed paths prior to that. And so they went to a friend's wedding. And Sara happens to suffer from the same illness I do, which is if she's not constantly surrounded by attention, she gets a little lonely. And so there was a moment where there was just Zach and Sara together. And Zach could see that Sara was a little bit upset. So he went towards her and said, "Are you okay?" And she said, "No." And so he said, do you just want to get in the car and we'll go someplace to eat or something? So they went out and they shared a meal and a few laughs. And that was it. And then they made the rest of the weekend about their friends celebrating their marriage. But then unexpectedly, as they went back home, they both just happened to be on the same plane going back to Columbus. And so the conversation picked up right where it left off, and it just kept going. That is until they decide to take a little break, which is fine. It's fine to take a moment and pause and question, is this the right choice? Is this the decision I want to make? During that time that Zach and Sarah were on a break, Sarah and I went to a New Year's Eve party together, knowing that right afterwards, Sarah would be going to a party with Zach, and then just having a quick conversation, I'm sure. Before Sarah went to go pick up Zach, though, she had to drop me back off at the house. And before she dropped me off, I could tell that Sarah was a little bit upset. So I said, are you okay? And she said, no, I don't know what to do. And I said, hey, do you remember what I said?
No.
Honey, I don't remember either. There's a reason why you were driving. So at one point, I must have grabbed Sarah's phone and talked to Zach and gave him some very wise words of advice, because shortly after, they were back together. So on behalf of the bride and groom, I would like to thank myself for making all of this happen here today. It did, really. Think about it. But in all seriousness, as I met up with Zach and Sarah in preparing for today's ceremony, my favorite part of Zach and Sarah's love story was hearing Zach tell me the moment he knew he wanted to make Sarah his wife. He said, the moment I knew I wanted to make Sarah my family was after meeting her family and seeing her interact with her parents. And if anybody knows Sarah, Sarah is absolutely obsessed with her parents' love story. Anytime we've ever gotten together as friends to go out and celebrate someone's promotion or birthday, really, to be honest, any excuse to drink, Sarah would always find the need to point out, that's where my parents met. Right, right there. And so, Zach, I can't imagine a better person for Sarah than somebody that would choose to be a part of this family. And so it's with that brief description of your love story, I'm now going to have you recite your vows. Which, by the way, do you have your vows on you?
They're in my purse. Or my phone.
Okay.
In the thing.
Totally fine. We're
Do you
just
have
gonna wing this for a second. Do you want to do yours
mine.
first?
Do I have mic?
Mike.
No mic?
No, we don't have a mic.
Okay, that's fine.
You're just saying to Sarah.
He's got Mike.
Okay. Am I just going?
Yep.
Okay. All right. Oh, he does have a mic.
Thank you.
Okay. Cool. All right. Sarah Elizabeth Austin. I stand before you now as a different person than when we met. I was angry and apathetic towards life, and you helped me grow, and also grown with me. Your kind heart and optimistic outlook on life is infectious. I love you so much, and I'm excited to see where our life takes us. I didn't know you existed 2 years ago. Now you're my best friend that I miss after a work day. I can't imagine what life would be like without you or Nessa in it. But I imagine cleaner and less stinky. I vow myself to your goals and ambitions. I vow to make you laugh. I vow to remember things for you. I vow to love you. I vow to try my hardest. I want you to sing every day and continue loving life. I want to be a part of that and the cause of that joy. And if you don't like that, well, let's do damn bad. Oh, you got it.
Do you need me to hold the mic for you?
You're my best friend. You are the greatest curveball God ever threw at me. You make me belly laugh every single day. I love your silly songs you make up on the spot and sing to me and Nessa. You consistently care for my well-being, always making sure I'm taking my allergy meds and not eating too much gluten so I don't get sick. I love cooking dinner with you, making new dishes, going on our day-long errand runs. Listening to music in the car is one of my most favorite activities to do with you. One of the first and most attractive things I noticed about you, besides your killer smile, was how happy you are to help others. You're so generous with your time and money. You're always cleaning up at the end of parties at friends' houses, tipping the waiters more than I'd like you to, and going over to friends' houses and fixing everything. These things don't even begin to sum you up, but they do embody the many things I always search for in my person. I want to clarify, when I say I do, I don't mean the laundry, and I think you know that.
I do know that.
Just like her mother.
I can't promise I will always love you perfectly, but I can promise that I'll always fight for us. No matter how hard life gets, I promise to always sing in weird accents and make you laugh at least once a day. When you're having a bad day, I promise to always listen. When money is lacking, my love for you won't. I will be your lifelong encourager, always rooting for you. I feel so safe and at home with you. You let me shine, always celebrating my true self and the self I didn't know was there. We have both grown so much through this partnership, and I can't wait to see where life takes us as we grow in marriage. I love you so much, Zach, and I'm proud to call you my husband, and I'm proud to be your wife. As Sir Elton John puts it, how wonderful life is now here in the world.
Now that you've both exchanged your vows, this is the part where we make our promise. So I'm going to start with Sarah, but we'll finish here with Zach.
Okay.
And at the end of each statement, I'm just going to ask if you agree with these things, please say I do. So we'll start with you, Sarah. Sarah, do you take Zach to be your husband? Do you promise to love, honor, and cherish them, to be loyal to each other in the good times and in the bad, in sickness and in health, till death do you part? If you agree on these things, please say I do.
I do.
And now, Zach, do you take Sarah to be your wife? Do you promise to love, honor, and cherish her, to be loyal to each other in the good times and in the bad, in sickness and in health, till death do you part? If you agree on these things, please say I do.
I do.
And now the couple have asked me to have you all exchange vows as well. So in a moment, I'm about to read a few statements. If you agree with these things, you'll just say, we do. Do you promise to love and support Zach and Sarah as they begin their marriage together, to be there for them in the good times and in the bad? Do you promise to listen to their moments of frustration with each other, but never choose a side, always them? And most importantly, do we promise not to ask when they will be adding to this family, but realize that they are already a family as of this moment? If you agree with these things, please say, we do.
Zach and Sarah have chosen a poem by James Kavanaugh as their gift to you, and Zach and Sarah as its gift to you also. To love is not to possess, to own, or imprison, nor is it to lose oneself in another. Love is to join and separate, to walk alone and together, to find a laughing freedom that lonely isolation does not permit. It is finally to be able to be oneself, no longer clinging to childish dependency, nor docilely living separate lives in silence. It is to be perfectly oneself and perfectly joined in permanent commitment to another and to one's inner self. Love endures when it moves like waves, receding and returning, gently or passionately, or moving lovingly like the tide in the moon's own predictable harmony. Because finally, despite a child's scars or an adult's deepest wounds, despite all of those things, they are openly free to be who they really are and who they secretly always were in the very core of their being, which is where true and lasting love can alone abide.
Thank you, Mom.
As we move forward into the ring ceremony, the couple have asked me to share another love story. And this is the story of Adam and Eve. It's weird because I feel like Adam and Eve's love story often gets glossed over because, we're all focusing on the creation of the universe and the world and everything that we know and see today. But the truth is that I think that there is a lot of value in this story. As a refresher, we're told in Scripture that God created Adam out of the dust of the ground and breathed life into him. And when God noticed that Adam was lonely and in need of a companion, he decided to take a different route when he created Eve. He put Adam into a deep sleep and removed one of his ribs, and out of that created Eve. Now, there's a lot of theories as to why God chose to do this, and nobody really knows. But here's the theory that I like best. God removed something from Adam that was meant to protect him. It was meant to protect his most vital organs. And that's what he made his partner out of. Our society does a really bad job of demonstrating just how powerful and strong women are. But if you know an Austin woman, you know that they are very strong and stubborn.
Yes.
And so, Sarah, as you get ready to place the ring that you've chosen for Zach on his finger, I want you to remember this. You're here to protect Zach just as much as he's here to protect you. That means that when you get together with the other wives and you guys start talking about all the stuff your spouses are doing, and trust me, Zach's going to give you plenty of material, you're not going to do any of that because you're always going to uphold him and put him first. When Zach has moments of doubt and is frustrated with himself, you're going to remind him how great he is and why you chose him as your partner. And Zach, for you, I want you to remember this. You, Sarah, should always be the person that you feel the most comfortable being vulnerable around. There's no side of you that should be kept secret from her. You don't have to try to fix everything before she realizes that there's a problem. You're a team now. So I'm going to ask you now, do you have a symbol or a token of your love for each other?
I do.
Would you all bow with me in prayer at this moment? Dear Heavenly Father, we thank you so much for this beautiful day in which we see Zach and Sarah come together as one in their marriage. We ask that you give them a healthy marriage throughout their lives, that they continue to put their families and you first, and bless this day. In your name I pray, amen. Sarah, I want you to take the ring that you have chosen for Zach, and as you place this on his left hand, on his ring finger, I want you to repeat after me. With this ring I thee wed.
With this ring I thee wed.
And pledge my love to you now and forever.
And pledge my love to you now and forever.
And Zach, will you take the ring that you have chosen for Sarah? Please repeat after me. With this ring I thee wed.
With this ring I thee wed.
And pledge my love to you now and forever.
And pledge my love to you now and forever.
walk over to the candle ceremony.
Oh, it's okay. Mom's.
It's a little bit funny, this feeling inside. I'm not one of those who can easily hide. I don't have much money, but boy, if I did, I'd buy a big house where we both could live. So excuse me for getting, but these things I do. You see, I've forgotten if they're green or they're blue. Anyway, the thing is, what I really mean, yours are the sweetest eyes I've ever seen. You can tell everybody this is your song. It may be quite simple, but now that it's done, I hope you don't mind, I hope you don't mind that I put down in words how wonderful life is. Now you're in the world. I hope you don't mind, I hope you don't mind that I put down in words how wonderful life is. Now you're in the world.
Nice. It's lit. It's so hot out, jeez.
This is the part of the ceremony where I'm supposed to give some sort of advice to the newly wed couple. But I'm hoping that my story picks up just like Zach's and Sarah's, and that I meet my partner here today just like they met theirs at their friend's wedding. So instead I asked you both to choose a few people whose advice you value the most. And so here's a letter that they collectively put together. Here's their advice. Laugh with each other daily. Continue to find the humor in everyday life. Remember this day when you are angry. The reason you love remember this day when you are angry with each other. And remember that the things that you often love about each other the most will be the things that drive each other crazy. Don't run away from conflict. Deal with your stress head on together. This will only make your marriage stronger. All right, there's no turning back after this moment, okay? All right. It is my great honor to now pronounce you both husband and wife. You can kiss your bride.
This way around. Baby, you look beautiful.
Wait, I can't go that way.
Can we go around?
Sure, let's go around.